Oh, do some links, did you say?
Yeah, I just need some links from you
Oh,
so
the
I can
files,
download.
yeah.
So I can download them in the drive. I know Lee's chasing them, so. Everybody trying to find some space out there. Crawling around. Alright, I'll just drop in intros and.
Yeah. Do we need to do Audacity? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live, and Motors TV. This is rounds 32 to 35 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. We're here at the Indianapolis Road Circuit tonight. It is the month of May, of course, and how fitting that the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will be racing around this famous speedway. The infield circuit, of course, the circuit that the Formula 1 cars used for so many years. Well, good evening everyone, I'm Adam Buff. Still no Andrew Woodhouse, so he'll be back in a few weeks, and alongside me is iRacing World Championship driver Alex Simpson. Alex, it's been a while that we've raced here, but the Indianapolis road circuit, it is a pretty good circuit for these Kias. A lot of good racing here.
Love this circuit for the Kias. I remember we did the MotoGP layout, was it? A few seasons back. That was some great racing going the opposite way around. So the traditional Grand Prix circuit, well, I say the traditional, it's almost historic now, isn't it? Because it hasn't been like this layout for quite some time. So, yeah, vastly changed. And I was watching the IndyCars earlier on today, and yeah, the layout just a little bit different. But still, this is a good layout for racing in this Kia, and I think we'll see a lot of overtaking tonight.
Saw some big crashes here as well. 2 safety car periods in one race last season. Yeah, the winners last time out here just over a year ago. We were racing here at the beginning of April in 2015. Sebastian Job took wins in race 1 and race 2, and Ben Palmer took a win in race 3. Just looking at the Drivers' Championship then, heading into this race meeting. Wojciech Savidovic leads Alex Smolenski by 85 points. Simon Fields is in 3rd, ahead of Stelian Chepelevsky in 4th. Michael Schellbach dropping down to 5th in the standings. Richard Gore 6th. Jamie Rushworth 7th. Ben Hackerson 8th. Ross Balfour 9th. And Colin Cuddiff running out the top 10. Over in the Pro-Am standings, we've got Paul Smith leading Nick McCarron by 81 points. Roy Ververke in 3rd. Jay Wright 4th. Scott Malcolm in 5th. Craig Evans in 6th, John Roberts 7th, Laura Bond 8th, Liam Atkins in 9th, and Matt Bunn running out the top 10 there. And then finally over in the team standings, Apex Racing leading them, 128 points ahead of Alphalatech. Race Up with CQR having a brilliant race meeting at Barber, of course, they're up in 3rd, Simpson Racing 4th, and Friction Racing in 5th place, with Sim Racer 6th. Then the top Pro-Am team, CQR Academy in 7th, 8th is Eclectic Motorsport, 9th Engine All Direct, and 10th it is Spicer Hearts.
Quite sure why the graphics were showing slightly wrong tonight, but don't seem to be up to date. So we'll go with what you read out. So apologies to everybody there. Just yeah, listen to Adam. He knows. He's reading it straight from the live sheets. But graphics, yeah, out of date it would appear.
Well, then qualifying underway here. We just got under a minute and a bit left. Ross Balfour did well here in the Kia Cup Series race a few nights ago. He's on provisional pole with Stelian Chepelevsky in 2nd, who was also racing there at the time. Dan Craft 3rd, Ashley Sutton, who had quite a bit of a run-in with Matt Neal. We'll talk about that in a bit, in 4th at the moment. Jamie Fluke in 5th, Jake Blackhall 6th, Richard Gore 7th, George Simmons 8th, Pete Newman 9th, and Steve Hefford rounding out the top 10. Yeah, Alex, one of the big talking points for Ash Sutton at the weekend was a bit of a crash with Matt Neal, and Matt Neal wasn't too happy with him.
Well, no, so I'm told. Do you know what? I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it. I would love to, give an opinion, but yeah, but I just don't know, and yeah, I won't pass any judgment without watching it.
Oh, we'll move on to Indianapolis then, as Ashton does go onto provisional pole. We've got a bit of a run down to turn 1, and this does usually mean that if someone gets a good start and unfortunately makes a bit of contact, then we do sometimes see a bit of a bottleneck with cars blocking the track, and that's what we saw last season with the safety car getting brought out.
Yeah, I think this layout will help somewhat. I think the last time when we were going the opposite way around, I think that's really where we had a lot of problems. So I think this should be okay, actually. I think, yeah, there's some Arca around, and like you say, everybody's got to filter into those sort of one lane, but I think we'll be okay tonight. Drivers this season have been really good at the starts, and how many times have we said, you know, everyone's made it through this season already? So yeah, I'm looking forward to the race, actually, because that huge long straight, just that a little bit of understeer that the car gets coming out of that final corner through the high-speed oval section should make it interesting. I'm pretty sure it's flat. Not 100% sure. Looks it. Can't hear anyone lifting, as we were looking at George there, just trying to get his last quality lap in. Wasn't lift at all, so plenty of draft and lots of overtaking. It's going to be great fun. Yeah,
I'm sure it's no coincidence, Alex, that whenever we seem to be racing a circuit which has lots of slipstreaming, we always have great racing.
That's it. Whether it be ovals or, you know, these sort of rovals, as they like to be called. We always have great racing. You know, Charlotte comes to mind, Daytona. There's always been some fantastic races. The World Series race the other day. I think that was at Daytona as well, and that was they had some epic battles in that one that you were part of, Adam.
Oh yeah, the Kia World Series. It was like anyone that was in the lead usually got taken out after a few laps or so. I wonder if we'll see that here tonight. We are on, of course, Roval, as you were saying. So qualifying just over. 4 10-lap races as always. And yeah, also a new thing for this race meeting, Alex. We are now part of the MSA. We've got the MSA branding on the championship.
Yeah, well, and that's a huge thing to add to it as well, and great to get some recognition from the British Association there. So yeah, a good lot of work getting involved from everybody to do that. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that announced the other day. And awesome job from the guys and the admins.
And we're about to head down to the grid. Sunrise conditions here for the first race of the day. Ash Sutton then on pole position. Ross Balfour in second. Stelian Chepelevsky in third. Dan Kraft fourth. Jamie Fluke in fifth. Jake Blackhall in sixth. Seventh is Steve Hefford. Eighth, Richard Gore. Ninth, George Simmons. Pete Newman rounding out the top 10. Ben Gregory is in 11th. Nathaniel Simpson 12th. Mark Johnston in 13th. Liam Atkins 14th. Diogo Melro in 15th. Rob Graham in 16th. David Baker, who did so well at Twin Ring Motegi, it's not the best of qualifying, so him down in 17th. Andrew Whitehead 18th. Jerome Kaiser 19th. Michael Hall in 20th. 21st for Russell Layla. 22nd for Matthew Bunn. 23rd, Roy Ververke. 24th, Lee Berridge. 25th, Steve Richardson. 26th, Kip Stevens. 27th, Jay Wright. 28th, Stuart Atkinson. 29th, Scott Malcolm. 30th, Julian Janowski. And quite a few penalties and quite a few big names here. 31st, Michael Schellbach. 32nd, Wojciech Savidovic. 33rd, Alex Malensky. So the championship 1 and 2 there outside the top 30. Rob Fagg 34th, Simon Fields 35th. Colin Cunniff 36th, Jamie Rushworth 37th, 38th Ben Hackerson, 39th Laura Bond, 40th Dan Hunt, 41st Nathan Davis, 42nd Paul Smith, 43rd Alex Everett, 44th Peter Van Gaal, 45th Craig Evans, 46th Jörg Dankert, and right at the back in 47th it is Cesare Rizzo. So the fight for the championship, Alex, is really going to be going on at the back in this first race.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see them all coming through, and no doubt they will as well. Nathan Davis doesn't make it onto our data sheet again, so sorry Nathan, we'll have to prompt the admins to add you on to that as well.
All getting set to go. A lot of cars here, of course, over 40. And 10 laps of racing around this Grand Prix circuit. Watch out for that slipstreaming, heading through the banking and onto the front straight. We saw a big crash there last year. Cars understeering wide into that Armco at the end of turn 13 and then spearing back across the track and caused quite a big crash there, so watch out for that. Almost ready to go. Ash Sutton there on the front of the grid. Ross Balfour alongside him. It's race up with CQR at the front. Friction Racing alongside Alphalatech third, and then Friction Racing in fourth as well. So Friction Racing well represented here. Apex Racing, the team championship leaders, in fifth there with Jamie Fluke. Winter Series champion, of course, is Jamie. Quite a long time for this grid, actually. 2 minutes of gridding time here. But now we're getting ready to go. Round 32 with the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship is underway. Good start. Yep.
Yeah, about to say, it looks like a great start from everybody. Such a long run down to turn 1. They're going to be at some speed. Everybody just trying to find some room already. We can see 3-4 wide in places. We're all going to snake through this first section. I think we're okay. It looks like a good turn 1.
Everyone cycling their way through for the first time here. Cold tyres, of course, sunrise conditions. We have got one car off. It's an Alphalatech car. Can't work out who it is. It's Michael Schellbach, who lies fifth in the standings. He's been able to get away, though. No contact for anyone. And straight away, all cars leaving the pit lane, including Wojciech Savidovic. Savidovic, the championship leader, starting from the pit lane here. Here we go then. We're about to go onto the back straight for the first time. Ash Sutton already pulling just a little bit of an advantage over Ross Balfour. Stelian Chepelevsky in third. Dan Kraft remains in fourth. Jamie Fluke fifth. It looks like it's really as you were, really, in terms of the top 10. Ben Gregory and Pete Newman rounding out the top 10 as we head down towards this second half of the lap, which is much more twisty than the first half before we head back onto the banking.
Yeah, 10 laps around here really isn't going to take an awful lot of time. And yeah, Sutton making trying to break that draft really, really quickly as well, and he needs to, because this long run, we'll see right now. Actually, let's bring the information up, because Ross is about 0.8 of a second back, and we'll see how much of an effect this draft has now. I reckon it's going to be close to about 4, maybe half a second that you can gain. He's going to have to go a bit defensive. Chepalevsky's very, very tight on him as well. I think he's going to have more of a chance of a run and into turn 1. Is he? No, it doesn't look like he is.
No, into the first corner. No way through. Chepalevsky remaining in third. Second, Ross Balfour, then Sutton. Ended that first lap led by 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, so it was a couple of tenths to the start-finish line, and then we saw another tenth as well. So about 3 tenths, so not quite as much as I thought. But still, that's quite a chunk of time. And you know, Sutton's quick, but I'm not sure he's quite 3 tenths of a second faster than the chasing pack.
David Baker going at it with, who's that behind? It is Diego Melro. Melro down the inside there of David Baker. Baker might try and respond into the hairpin. No, he doesn't. Now he's got to switch his focus to Andrew Whitehead, who's behind him.
Yeah, Diego got a good little run there and passed and through. Great little shot of all the cars just filtering through there. You just forget actually that how much the pack can really string out. I mean, there's guys sort of 17, 18 seconds behind the leader after 1 lap, but they can't go any closer to the car in front. It's crazy.
Well, that's complete lap 2 then. Gap starting to form here. Richard Gore trying to get past the sim racer car of Steve Hefford. They're pretty close to each other, heading through turn 13 and to complete lap 2. And at the same time, look at the battle for the lead. Ash Sutton having to defend, but I think he's just trying to cut the slipstream off. But Stelin Chepalevsky trying to get past Ross Balfour as we head into turn 1. Our Falatech versus Friction Racing. Down the inside goes Stelin Chepalevsky, and the man that started third on the grid is now up into second. Done deal, easy move there, using the slipstream to his advantage, getting that move done, Alex.
Yeah, Ross couldn't quite get close enough to be able to get sucked up to the back of Sutton there, and Cheppy, even though the Friction Racing car was in a bit of draft ahead, he just was a little bit closer, could carry that little bit more speed, and yeah, we'll see if he can close in on race leader now.
Yeah, let's see. Chepalevsky was fastest in practice, of course. 1:28.7 there. Wasn't as quick as that in qualifying. 1:29.1 and put him third on the grid. Ash Sutton's fastest qualifying time, by the way, 1:29.0, and it was almost exactly the same in practice. So Chepalevsky has proven he's been able to lap quicker.
Sorry, Adam, just watching a little battle out here. This was Kaiser, who's back as a reserve for Engine Oil Direct tonight. He was having a good little battle with Russell Laidler there, and Whitehead's ahead of him. We've got Janowski. It's a good little pack, but they're starting to drop a little bit behind Whitehead now. So they, yeah, all this fighting amongst themselves is just pushing them back at the moment.
Yeah, they're all starting to fall behind the likes of Baker, Melro, and then the other race-up car of Michael Hall. Richard Gorluck, he was in a bit of problems just a few moments ago. Had a bit of contact with George Simmons going through that twisty section at the end of the back straight. But yeah, that battle with Kaiser involved, definitely one to watch as we're coming off of turn 13. Start the next lap, lap 4 now of 10.
Oh, a late move, I think, from Ben Gregory there. Throws it up the inside of Richard Gore. There's contact further back as well. Who
Johnston's
is that? Yeah, so Mark Johnston. We can grab his car. There was another off as well. I think it was a CQR car.
Michael Hall.
That was off. There we go, Michael Hall. So, yeah, you can just see Michael join in there. So, is that someone with a blown engine as well, a bit further ahead? Who is that that's going slow?
Cycling through, just trying to see who it was. Michael Hall's got back going again. Think of anyone's... Might have just been a lock-up. Oh, yeah, there is it. It's Ross Balfour. Ross Balfour, who was in third after starting second, that just lost the position to Chepalevsky. He's got smoke pouring from the back of his Kia Optima. Let's see what happens to him. Most likely it's just going to be blown heading out of turn 2, possibly. It looked like it had blown before then.
Yeah, not far enough back. Let's go a bit further, see exactly where that was. It's going to be going into turn 1, isn't it? Just downshift too early. Geez, it was even before then. So let's go back just a fraction more. See if we can catch exactly where he does this.
Was it downshifting into turn 1, possibly? I don't know. At the same time,
possibly. Yeah. I'm just going to jump on board actually and see if we can see this. This isn't Ross. What's happened there? Where's he gone? Ross!
And to have lost Ross Balfour at the same time, we do have a battle for the lead, but no change of position, so keep you updated on that while we find out what happened to Ross Balfour.
We will get this replay up. It's taken a while. I don't know what keeps happening there. So, but yeah, finally we're there. So we're on board going into turn 1. Is that it? I didn't even hear the pop.
No, neither did I. I can't even see it happen.
It's clearly where it's gone. I mean, the car's just gutless after that, but there was no pop or anything like that. But I mean, I could hear him revving the absolute off of it. You know, it's just, yeah.
Sutton and Chepelevsky, that didn't take long. The gaps come down. Last time around, Sutton 1:30.052. St. Chepelevsky 1:29.3. So 0.7 of a second quicker there by Cheppy, and he's having a little look there on Ash Sutton before we head back onto the banking. I'm sure the slipstream is going to be very crucial here in the battle for the lead. We're on lap 5, already halfway through this race, so we're absolutely we're going to fly through these 4 races tonight. A lot of action, of course, in all 4 of them. Here we go then, through the right-hander, which would be the turn 2 corner on the IndyCar circuit. And then through turn 13, the final corner here, and onto the front straight we go. Let's have a look at the difference in speeds. Chepelevsky 2.45, 2.46. Sutton's only just reaching that now, so there is quite a lot of speed advantage here in the slipstream. And Sutton's having to go on the defensive. He's going to go to the outside into turn 1. Sutton covering the inside. There is the racing line though that Chepelevsky's on, but he can't get around the outside in time. Sutton's just so late on the brakes, he's able to get it done. And it's just in front. A little bit of a tap on the rear there by Chepelevsky. Dan Kraft in 3rd, 4th Fluke, 5th Blackhall. Then George Simmons just holding off Steve Hefford, Richard Gore, and then Ben Gregory. And down the inside goes Gregory on Richard Gore. Is Gore going to go around the outside? He has got the grip around there, and he superbly holds on.
These guys are having a great little battle actually. Last few laps they've been exchanging position. This second pack, headed by George Simmons, has lost the leaders now. They're 3.2 seconds back, so really is going to be a fight for 6th place in this pack, but still pretty good result. Hefford closing in on Simmons now as well. Jinx back to the left, maybe into the left-hander. Thinks about it. No, can't quite happen. Gore again having to go a little bit defensive from Gregory. So yeah, these 5 having a great little battle out there.
We're going back onto the banking for the leaders. Lap 6. When we get to the line, there'll be lap 7, 8, 9, 10. 4 laps to go. With the right-hander then, Sutton. He's positioning his car well, Alex. He's just putting it on the inside line, and we know how good he is on the brakes. He's able to just stay ahead heading into turn 1.
Yeah, Cheppy's closer than he has been ever. So once again, Sutton has to go defensive on the inside, and Stellion. I don't know if Stellion's running a little bit more wing, because when he pops out from that draft, he doesn't really gain anything. So perhaps just a little bit of rear wing on that. He's side by side this time though. Just gonna nerf Sutton out wide a little bit. No, he doesn't. Ashley holds onto it once again, and this just gets a little tap from behind as well. This is really starting to hot up. Dan Kraft in there as well wants a piece of that action. Fluke's closed right in as well, and Blackhall just behind him too.
Well, a shame that Ross Balfour's not involved in this as well. That engine blow up definitely jeopardising his race there. Here we go onto the back straight then on lap 7. The gap at the line was incidentally 34 thousandths of a second, so we could have a photo finish on our hands here if Chepelevsky just gets a good run out of the right-hander onto the banking section, and then for the final corner at turn 13. At the same time, it looks like it's hotting up in the background. George Simmons versus Steve Hefford, and at the same time Richard Gore versus Gregory. Gregory down the inside of Gore. No way through, but he has got his car up the inside, but this section's just so twisty that you can't really get a move done because it just changes direction straight away through these left-right sections. And now we're heading back onto the banking again.
Lillian not as close as he was the last time, but I don't think he'll get anything done this time. And Kraft, if anything, actually, it's probably going to be Kraft who's going to maybe try and line something up. I think Stellion's got enough of straight line speed in the draft to be able to hold on to that though. So 2 Apex cars are closing in on this little pack though.
Into turn 1. Lap times last time around at the front then. 130.9 for Chepelevsky, 130.7. So Sutton.
Gregory, sorry,
Adam,
to cut you off there. Gregory up the inside of Richard Gore. Gore's got the inside for the left-hander. He's going to retain that position once again. These guys just going at it. Pete Newman lurking in the background there. He's just waiting to see what's happened with those two battling. I think at some point he could, just jump both of those as they get into it. But they're pretty much everyone as they are. Sorry, they're cutting you off.
No, keeping me on my toes. That's brilliant. Pete Newman then trying to get past Ben Gregory, just trying to capitalise there possibly, but no way through. And this first race, usually the calmest of the 4, but we're still seeing great battles here. Two big battle packs here. We've got the guys at the front, and then we've got this battle for what is 6th on back. 6th down to about 10th place.
Oh, Whitehead's into the wall. He got turned big time there. He was having a great little battle. He'll be frustrated with that one. Skip that back just so we can have a little replay of exactly what happened.
Panel. Beautiful quarter panel with Dan Hunt.
Just, yeah, he was side by side with Dan for a whole while, and that's the trouble. He just checked out. You know, Dan really didn't do anything wrong there, did he? You know, that's just the nature.
Just closing gap.
When you got somebody there and you sort of push out wide, I know you've got to because that's the line, but you run that risk, don't you? And yeah, poor old Dan. He wouldn't have wanted to seen that for sure. But yeah, neither would Whitehead, of course. Hefford and Simmons side by side. There's potential move. And I think this time Gregory has got Gore as well. Simmons trying to hold on the inside like Gore did the last lap. He can't make that work. Bad line for him. Gregory got opportunity here to pick up another spot. If he throws out the inside, he tries. Simmons defends just a little bit. And I think Gregory's going to have got that place as well. Could well be a freight train situation here for Simmons if he can't get back in line quick enough. He has done. He's trying to go back round the outside. That's made him vulnerable to Richard Gore. Gore up the inside. He's going to have to hold it round the outside. We saw what happened a lap ago between Whitehead and Dan. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, but they've managed to avoid the core panel.
George Simmons doing a good job for Eclectic Motorsport. Of course, they're a Pro-Am team, and Richard Gore up the inside on the penultimate lap here of racing. Richard Gore down the inside, but the track quickly changes right, so Simmons can lunge it back up the inside there, but once again we see it quickly changes to the left, and that's what rules in Richard Gore's favour, so he's able to get that place away from Simmons. Poor Simmons, he lost 3 places in a lap. He's not giving up though. He's going to go back down the inside as we're heading onto the banking to start the final lap of the race. Meanwhile, we'll just quickly see if there's anything happening at the front. Shepelevsky's very close to Sutton. Alex, here we go on to the final lap of the race then. Sutton covering the inside. Shepelevsky going for it, and he's now going to cut to the outside. He's going to be desperate to try and get this lead into turn 1. This is where one of the key overtaking spots is on the track. Round the outside he goes. Oh, just not able to get it up the inside. Meanwhile, what's going on further back? Oh my word, that could be 3 wide into turn 1. Simmons versus Gore versus Pete Newman. And David Baker joining in the action as well. Baker, who started down in 17th. And wow, Pete Newman round the outside of Gore. Off is Simmons. Simmons bouncing all over the place. He might get a nudge here from Newman. Gore trying to go around the outside now into this right-hander. He's got the grip around there. We saw that a few laps ago. And he could have the position here. He's got the outside line but the inside line into this left-hander. And that's a brilliant move by by Richard Gore past George Simmons.
I tell you what, that took a whole lap to get that overtake completed, but he's managed to do that. So the two in front, they've separated apart a little bit, so nothing going on. Let's switch back to the lead battle because you have to think this is going to be a photo finish. Who will get this one?
Just a few corners to go then. It's all going to be about Shepelevsky's run through this right-hander. And he gets a reasonably good one. He's right on the back of the race up with CQR car of Ashley Sutton. Through the right-hander then. It's going to be all about the toe. Sutton's going to have to try and hold on here. It looks like that Dan Craft won't be able to do anything to disrupt this battle. Through the final corner we go. Through turn 13. Race 32 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will go to Ashley Sutton by 38 thousandths of a second. He just holds on for the win there. Shepelevsky, brilliant battle with Sutton, gets second. Dan Craft third. Fourth for Jamie Fluke. Fifth, Jake Blackwell, who got the positions in the end in that second battle. It was Steve Hefford ahead of Ben Gregory, George Simmons, Richard Gore, and then Pete Newman and David Baker there.
Yeah, George showing there you can get the run as well. What else is going on a bit further back? Everybody's coming across the line. I think we've got Svidovic here and Whitehead followed closely tucked up behind Steve Richardson. All scrambling for places. Of course, there's a chance for well, they need a full reverse grid, don't they? Where they are down in 34th. So, yeah, disaster really. That grid lane, that grid start, really costing the some of the big names massively here.
Yeah, and Svidovic, of course, started from the pit lane for this first race of the evening. The Sim Racer driver down in 34th place. Don't go anywhere, of course. We still have 3 more races to go after this, plus a reverse grid. So plenty of action still to come here in the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. The reverse grid, if we get drawn a full, we'll have a whopping 43 cars reversed. And I tell you what, that's definitely going to be something to watch. Let's run you through the finishing order then from the first race of the evening. Ash Sutton takes the victory then for Race Up with CQR, Sailing Chepelewski just behind him at the end, less than half a tenth in it. Dan Craft in third, fourth for Jamie Fluke, fifth Jake Blackhall, sixth for Steve Hefford. In the end, he led that battle across the line. And a Ben Gregory in seventh, George Simmons eighth, Richard Gore ninth, Pete Newman in 10th. David Baker 17th to 11th in the end, a good fight back through the field there, just missing out on a top 10 finish for him. 12th Liam Atkins, 13th Nathaniel Simpson, 14th was Robert Graham, 15th Russell Laidler, 16th Jerome Kaiser, reserve driver filling in there, 17th Diego Melro, 18th was Dan Hunt, despite a bit of contact with Andrew Whitehead, 19th Julian Janowski, and running out of the top 20 was Roy Ververke, bless me. 21st was Kip Stevens, 22nd was Michael Shellback, 23rd Ben Hackison, 24th Matt Bunn, 25th Alex Smolensky, second in the championship, finishing ahead of Wojciech Savidovic there. Rob Fagg in 26th, Craig Evans 27th, 28th for Paul Smith after starting 42nd. 29th was Jamie Rushworth and 30th was Simon Field. 31st Lee Berridge, 32nd Steve Richardson, 33rd was Andrew Whitehead after getting turned around there in the closing stages. 34th, Wojciech Savidovic, as we were saying, championship leader. We've lost some of his points there tonight. Stuart Atkinson, 35th. Michael Hall finished in 36th after quite a few, a bit of a bump with Mark Johnston early on. 37th was Laura Bond, 38th, Colin Cunniff, 39th, Jay Wright, Jörg Dankert finished in 40th. 41st, Nathan Davis, 42nd, Cesario Rizzo, 43rd will be Scott Malcolm if we get a full reverse grid. And then Mark Johnston 6 laps down. Also 6 laps down were Peter Van Gool, Ross Balfour with that blown engine, and 8 laps down was Alex Everett. Great first race, Alex, then. Great battle at the lead, and battles all throughout the top 10.
Yep, I'm nodding away here, and no one can see me, but yeah, fantastic. Really enjoyed that, and I think the reverse grid's going to be exciting. I tell you what, Ash is going to be hard to beat tonight, and I think he's going to come through that pack very quickly. Like you say, he was so good on the brakes, and I do think he's running just a little bit less wing than some of the guys out there, because I'm really surprised that at no time did the timing screen show that Stellion had got ahead, even if it was on the outside. So very quick car and very confident on the brakes, so he's going to be very tough to beat. And I think once he's in the draft, he's going to be sailing past people as well.
Very close in terms of lap times between Sutton and Chepelewski. Sutton's personal best in that race was a 1:29.2 compared to Chepelewski, who did a 1 at 29.1. So very close between those two, and that battle was brilliant to watch. Well then, it's time for the reverse grid for the second race of the evening, round 33 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Alex, then, let's have a look at the contenders. They're eligible. 2 full slots, of course, on that Wheel of Fortune. And it's 16 down to 26 plus 2 fulls. So, Jerome Kaiser, Diego Melro, Dan Hunt, Julian Janowski, Roy Ververke, Kip Stevens, Michael Shellback, Ben Hackison, Matt Bunn, Alex Smolensky, Rob Fagg. And then if we have a full, it could be Scott Malcolm, who would be on pole position. So, time to spin the wheel. Over to you, Alex.
Here we go then. Who's it going to be? Where's it going to end up? Oh, it's close. It's going to be close. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh.
Is it literally just...
Oh, it's literally...
a slight breeze.
Alright, I've got to call this, and I'm sorry guys, it's 20th. It's not full. I want to say it's full, but it's not. It's 20th. It can't get any closer, I know. But it points to the 20, not to the full.
Well, it's still a good result for Automech, because they would have been on pole position if it was a full, but they're going to be on pole position anyway, because Roy Ververke is going to be reversed onto pole position for the second race of the evening. Julian Janowski in second, Dan Hunt in third, Diego Melro in fourth, and Jerome Kaiser in fifth. And I'm sure the championship contenders won't be too happy that it's landed on 20 either, because it means they're going to be starting back in the midst of the midfield once again. The likes of Savidovic, Field, Rushworth, Smolensky as well. Will be starting in his 25th place. So yeah, 20. It was nearly a full.
Yeah, the chat's obviously lighting up there. Everyone's like, it's still moving, it's in between. It's a full, it's 20th. Come on, look, points firmly to it. Hasn't gone past the pip. So, oh well. Maybe it has gone past the pip. It's crazy.
well, we can still assure you that this second race should be just entertaining, even if we didn't have a full reverse grid. But that's going to be coming up in a few minutes. We're going to be stepping aside for just a moment here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live, and Motors TV. But join us in a moment where round 33 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will be underway. Stay with us.
I'm an engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we're driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with the manufacturer and a race team. Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, and this go around it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
Me and my friends in this place gonna party.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. This is the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship, and this is round 33 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the road course layouts. Great first race here, but we're about to get ready for the start of the second one. And of course Ash Sutton was the winner in that one. 20 cars reversed for the second race of the evening, and that means that Roy Verke is on pole position. I'll run you through the grid for that just in a moment. But now we're in the daytime conditions. Even though it's the daytime conditions, Alex, these laps are so quick and the race distance is so short, the tyre wear shouldn't really be a factor here.
No, I wouldn't have thought so, to be honest. I mean, the lap times are considerably slower than what they were doing in the previous one, so we're looking at upwards of 2 seconds a lap there. So yeah, that surprised me, but I would have thought it would have been much less, but everybody's aware of what's going on out there now with these cars. They're so familiar with how they react, so they'll be straight back on it, I'm sure.
We'll look at the grid. Let's have a look at the grid actually. Roy Verke is on pole position. Julian Janowski lines up alongside him on the front row. Dan Hunt in third. Diego Melro in fourth. Sharon Kaiser in fifth. Russell Laidler lines up in sixth. Seventh it is Rob Graham. Eighth Nathaniel Simpson. Ninth Liam Atkins, and David Baker lines up in 10th. 11th Pete Newman. 12th Richard Gore. 13th George Simmons. 14th Ben Gregory. 15th Steve Peppard. 16th will be Jake Blackhall. 17th Jamie Fluke. 18th Dan Kraft. 19th Salian Shepelevsky. And 20th is our race 1 winner, Ash Sutton. Kip Stevens lines up 21st. 22nd will be Michael Shellback. 23rd Ben Hackerson. 24th Matt Bunn. 25th Alex Molensky. 26th Rob Fagg. 27th Craig Evans. 28th Paul Smith. 29th Jamie Rushworth. And 30th Simon Fields. 31st will be Lee Berridge. 32nd Steve Richardson. 33rd Andrew Whitehead. 34th will be Wojciech Savidovic, the championship leader of course. 15th Stuart Atkinson. 36th, sorry, what am I talking about, is Michael Hall. 37th Laura Bond. 38th Colin Cunniff. 39th Jay Wright. 40th Jörg Dankert. 41st Nathan Davis. 42nd Cesario Rizzo. 43rd Scott Malcolm. 44th Mark Johnson. 45th Peter Van Gaal. 46th Ross Balfour, he blew his engine of course while running up inside the top 5, and at the back in 47th is Alex Everett.
You know what I want to see is when they bring out, they've done all the tracks with this, you can share a pit lane so we can get 60 cars on every single racetrack. Because I'll tell you what, we'll fill those 60 spots in every race as well, because the series just keeps on growing when you're just reading out the title of it there as well, the iRacing MSA BSR Pro Series. You forget a little bit as well that iRacing got involved with this series as well, become the main sponsor this year and the Winter Series as well. So over to you, Adam.
Round 33 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship is underway. Verke gets away with it. It's a good start from the guy that started third on the grid, Dan Hunt. He's already got past his teammate in second, which was Julian Janowski, and he could be about to take the lead. However, this camera angle is a bit too far away for me to have a look. In fact, I think he is alongside Verke going into the first corner, and he's got the lead. So great start from Dan Hunt. From third to lead, and Janowski going to go on the outside of Evans as well, Verke as well. Let's see if they're all going to get through turn 1 without incident. I think they have. No one off really. And a little bit wide there is Rob Graham. That's going to allow the Simpson racing cars through. He's just going to have to find his own level to try and get back in here alongside with Richard Gore. Good clean start there, everyone.
Got a couple of cars off actually in the background, a bit further back, and there was one car into the wall as they were going towards turn 1. A little bit of contact I'm hearing as well.
Yeah, Steve Richardson's in the wall.
Going through the long left-hander, so yeah, not quite such a smooth start. Who was that dying across to the right? Yeah, it's just all of a sudden just took a beeline to the right. And a few guys with slowdowns there by the looks of it, and there's nothing worse than a slowdown on that first lap. You never get that back.
See who that slowdown was. That was it was Rob Fagg in that privately run Eurochip Digital entry. Eurochip Digital engine or direct car going slowly. Lee Berridge, I think he was just trying to find his own line with Jamie Rushworth behind him, and then Sim Racer car Kip Stevens trying to battle away with Simon Field, pushing him onto grass, and Stevens is off into the wall. Thankfully there's a bit of runoff there. So he didn't have just as big as an impact as I was expecting him to have, but a problem for Kip Stevens already on lap 1.
There's a few people trying to change positions a bit further back as well. A little dive down in the inside as we saw there, but nothing going. Everybody looks like they're settling down a little bit. Yeah, Ash starting up to 13th place as well. Good start from him. Kraft up to 10th. And yeah, Hunt as well. I mean, I really did think that Dan Hunt had a really good opportunity here. Of course, he's got his teammate behind him as well, so the two Alpha Tech cars could score some really big points in this race if they just work together. Hunt needs to drag Janowski along. Roy Ververke, we know how quick he is in 3rd place, won't want to take it lying down, and Diego as well is you know, a good addition to the series, and just 4 tenths behind Ververke right now. Kaiser back in the car, and of course in 5th place as well, so looking yeah, pretty strong.
I think Ash Sutton's has just picked up the longest slowdown known to man. He was in where was he? He was in 13th place. Now he's outside the top 30. So a huge slowdown for Ash Sutton. But yeah, this battle at the front could get quite interesting. Diego Mauro, as Alex was saying, good addition to the series there. Dan Hunt already pulling away with his teammate acting shotgun. Half a second, the gap was at the line. It'll probably be a bit bigger than that when we get to line to complete lap 2. So good to see Automech in 3rd, then Melrose for Mainland Racing, then Jerome Kaiser. There he is in that engine oil direct livery. Then we've got Nathaniel Simpson, of course, and then another Alpha Tech car there in Russell Laidler. So good second race for those guys. Side by side there is Richard Gore coming under pressure. Yes, he is, from Dan Kraft. Kraft, who was up there in race 1, got a podium result there, trying to get his way past the Richard Gore.
Shellback as well, putting a move on Liam Atkinson. Let's just take a quick look at who we have out of this race. Jamie Fluke is out, Kip Stevens is out, and Steve Richardson as well. So 3 gone. Jay Wright's had a pit stop, and he's back away, but way behind at the moment. So yeah, a couple of big retirees there.
Yeah, big retiree Kip Stevens. It didn't look like he picked up that much damage, but obviously it looks like he's picked up enough to go back to the pits. Liam Atkins and Chepelevsky battling away, and then another CQR Academy car trying to get involved in the action as well. Matt Bunn. They're all battling over here. 16th, 15th, 16th and 17th, I think. Chepelevsky looking to the inside, into the left-hander. You can have a look down there, but it never usually works out, because as you can see there, we head into a right-hander and another left-hander straight away. But Liam Atkins is going to have to be on the defensive. He didn't have the best run there through that quick left-hander. He's going to be at the mercy probably of Stalin Chepelevsky as we head onto the banking.
Just having a look, see what else is going on. I think these guys are going to come at it in turn 1, but just ahead of them we've got Kraft and Gore once again battling through the oval section. Going to be a straight on drag race down that start finish line. Gore has got the slipstream of the car ahead, but not doing a great deal. A little bit of side draft and everybody's scrambling for position. Is that somebody blinking down the straight as well? Some big problems there. I don't know who that was, but it's yeah, it's all kicking off just a little bit further back. We might have to just switch our attention in a minute. I think that was Chepelevsky in and around the CQR guys as well. Got Ben Hackerson in there as well, Paul Smith, Rob Graham, Savidovic as well,
yeah,
working his way back up. So Rushworth, so all those guys who had the penalties from the first race as well, in and around this sort of 23rd position right now, and they're trying desperately. They need a good race here. They need to get sort of in that top 17 spots, 17, 18 spots, try and guarantee a good starting grid position.
Some racer cars then in amongst the pack. Here comes Savidovic, his teammates trying to fend off the Automech car there. Savidovic alongside Smolensky, of course his championship rival as well at the moment. Into the corner, it looks like Savidovic has got them both done there, so that's brilliant. Smolensky's going to try and get back past Rob Graham, and the CQR race-up car trying to get involved there. That's Jamie Rushworth. So the championship contenders all in and amongst this battle here, trying to get inside the top 20. Who's that going down the inside? It's Colin Cunniff, trying to get past his compatriot Rob Graham there. Heading on to the banking now. We're going to start lap 5, already halfway through this race. Steve Hefford and Michael Shellback are having a good battle here. They're right with each other now through turn 13 and onto the front straight to complete another lap. Same time. Yep.
To switch attention as well, Russell Laidler and Kaiser having a little battle. Someone with connection problems again. Further back, nothing happened with that move there. Nathaniel Simpson seems to be dropping down the order as well. What's going on with him? He just
made a small mistake, I think, into the corner.
Just just went in too deep and just lost all of his momentum there and drops down to 10th place as well. Benjamin Hackerson getting pretty close to the back of Atkinson as well. He was trying to follow Chepalewski through there just a couple of laps ago. Hasn't managed to do that yet. Rob Gray and Simon Field side by side as well. Field looking strong. He's got that around the outside. Is Field? Oh, it hasn't got it completed. So I'll tell you what, there's definitely some connection problems out there right now, and one of them is Rob Graham, and it is all over the place. Very, very hard to drive against people like that. So hopefully that sorts itself out for the next race. Never good.
Well, Graham's having a little bit of a look, but Sutton and Field are just in front of him now, so they don't have to worry him, but he'll definitely be watching in the mirrors as Field has a little bit of old. Robert Graham had looked down the inside, I think, whilst he was blinking away, but Simon Field's just able to carry on and is on the back of Ash Sutton. Through the right-hander we go and back onto the banking. Going to start lap 6 when we get to the line. There's a battle going on at the front here. We've got a battle over, or as I say at the front, it's really a battle over about 8th, 9th and 10th. Pete Newman, Dan Craft, Richard Gore, an Alpha Tech car involved there as well. Down the inside, that's Russell Layla going down the inside of Jerome Kaiser. And a mainland racing car there of Diego Melrose, side by side with Newman. Newman round the outside, out of the first corner. He's just able to keep it on the track. And he's got a Friction racing car for company there. That's Dan Craft, of course. Down the inside goes Newman. But
oh, Gore just gets a little punt out wide there as well. Manages to collect it back up, slops in behind Shellback that was. I think that was Gregory. No, it wasn't Gregory, sorry. It was George Simmons. So these guys back and battling just like the last race. Dan Craft, oh, who was that who just got nerfed out wide as well? So yeah, Pete Newman, he was involved in that battle too. He was sitting patiently in the last race, so not sure what's happened, but he deserved that.
Bit of contact, I think, with Dan Craft, actually. I think that might have happened. Side by side, though, Newman versus Simmons. And who's out alongside? Michael Shellback. Shellback trying to get some space. Newman gives it just to him. And they're going to be side by side here. Into the corner, that's very close there, and they nearly make contact, but I think it's just going to be in Newman's favour. It's not over, is it? No, they're going to be at it again here. See how he
had an opportunity to try and shut the door there, but I think he realised that he would have been in trouble had he tried. I think it just had a little tap, and we know how this car reacts. Front two as well really are working together now. Janowski right on the tail of Dan Hunt, so Alpha Tech looking set for a whole chunk of points in this race. Verke trying to keep with them, struggling a little bit. Laidler 3.7 seconds back now, although has a 1.4 second gap over Diego. Craft closing in on him strong, and then you've got this right old gaggle that's led by Benjamin Gregory. And who is that? I think that's Kaiser, just all of a sudden slow on the inside there. Not sure what the problem is quite there for Kaiser, but he's dropping back all of a sudden.
Can't tell if there's a slowdown or not, because he was slow from the moment he left the first corner here, and now he's got cars behind him. He's got the Alpha Tech car Shellback, he's got Newman, he's got Richard Gore. Newman trying to get the cutback here on Michael Shellback. At the same time, Diego Melro is all over the back of who's that? Is that Dan Craft? It is, going into the left-hander, no way through there. And indeed the guys in front of them, Russell Laidler, and then Roy Verke, Janowski and Hunt. But yeah, this battle over 5th, 6th and 7th. Melro versus Craft.
Yeah, we're just on board with Melro. Doesn't get a very good line through the final corner, and actually might make himself a little bit vulnerable to Ben Gregory, who's behind him right now. Fortunately for Melro, Craft's ahead, and he will get a little bit of a draft. But yeah, Gregory 0.3 of a second back, closing in again. Might see an opportunity for a move into turn one. We saw how good Gregory was on the brakes in the first race as well. Kept putting moves up the inside of Richard Gore and eventually paid off. You're going to try and do it here. He looks, but oh no, he just thinks twice about that. And I think that's Simmons behind. Sorry, not Simmons behind. It was Shellback and Kaiser battling just a little bit further behind as well. Shellback goes through.
So that's Shellback into 9th, Kaiser down to 10th, and Newman up the inside and he hits him. Bit of contact there, slows down to try and allow Kaiser back through, but this is in turn holding up everyone else. Kaiser back round the outside, and now Richard Gore's going to try and get past Pete Newman into the left-hander. Is there enough room given? Looks like it. Richard Gore on the inside, Newman on the outside. And is he going to be clear before the hairpin? No, Newman forces it back up the inside. And he's just going to be clear as we head onto the back straight. That was almost one of your smash and grabs there, Alex.
Yeah. I think this what makes this track so good for racing as well. One corner leads into the next. It's left, right, left, right, left, right. It's great because it's so difficult for guys to get moves completed. If you can manage to hang it on around the outside, you can almost get the place back, and then the advantage goes to your opponent all of a sudden. So yeah, great racetrack for racing, and I think Kia is showing it for all its glory.
Melrose versus Gregory. They're now going at it here. Gregory was racing in the World Series at Daytona. Had quite an eventful evening there. And he's having a good one here tonight at Indianapolis. Off of turn 13 they go, and in fact he's now under pressure from George Simmons. So that's how quickly things can change here. The Eclectic Motorsports car going at it into the first corner on lap 9, the penultimate lap here. So that's how quick the race has gone by. Melrose going to swing it in front, and Simmons is going to try and go down the inside here. But Gregory will have the run on the outside, and then car 39, Michael Scharbach, keeping a watchful eye on these guys at the moment.
Yeah, Michael just be glad to get a good finish. Obviously, he was another driver that had a penalty that he's having to serve on the previous race, so to make himself up and into 9th position. Oh, that was a little tap from behind, and well, Gregory just gets nerfed out. He was alive to that pretty quickly as well. Got himself back onto the track. Only lost a couple of seconds and was able to avoid getting caught by Pete Newman there. He's got 1.4 seconds, 2 laps to go. Should be able to maintain that place.
Kaiser versus Cheppy, and Chepalevsky looks like he might be trying to get it done. Sutton also looks like he's having a bit of a battle in the background. It looks like we're going 3 wide further back there. Let's have a look at that. Paul Smith, Alex Smolensky, Matt Bunn, and side by side Sutton versus Jamie Rushworth. Oh, and a bit of contact there. Smolensky gets hit by one of the CQR Academy cars. And here comes the blue one. That's Jamie Rushworth trying to go around the outside of Matt Bunn. That might be done actually. And side by side in the background, Sutton versus Cunniff. With one of the Simpson racing cars there involved, Simon Field.
Last lap, and once again the 2 Alphalatech cars work together. Is Roy going to have anything for these guys? He really needs to sort of get in amongst them this lap, obviously. The worst thing I've ever said in my life, I think, there. But, well, early in this lap, really, if he had any chance of a run off that final corner. But he looked like he struggled a little bit through turn 2. Lost a bit of time. He's going to have to work his way back towards them. His only chance is that they try and trip over themselves somewhat, trying their best not to hit each other or take each other out.
It's now or never for Tomac and Rob Graham. And Roy Verke, and credit to him, he's right with him. And I know that the Alphalatech drivers will be in deep communication with each other, so hopefully they don't take each other out. It is Hunt versus Janowski for the win. We're heading into the final few corners here. Surely they wouldn't want to do the unthinkable and take each other out. Of course, it's not the first time we've seen that in the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. But here we go, final few corners. Dan Hunt usually does well on North American soil. He's taken wins. I think he's actually taken a win at this circuit quite a few seasons ago. But here we go, onto the banking through turn 12 and on our way towards turn 13, the final corner on the circuit. I think Janowski will just keep it in check here and get a 1-2 for Alphalatech. Through the final corner we go, and round 33. The iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will go to Alphalatech and will go to Dan Hunt. Julian Janowski finishes in second, Roy Verke third. Now let's quickly focus our attention on all of these battles that are coming across the line. Gregory versus Simmons. And it is Gregory that finishes ahead of Simmons. Simmons was ahead before we started the lap, and Gregory finished ahead. Pete Newman finished ahead of Chepalevsky in the end. Kaiser lost a whole load of positions there on the final lap. Savidovic ended up 15th after starting 34th, so he came through the field in that second race. Smolensky 20th, another big name there. Jamie Rushworth in 21st. All of them scattering as they come into that first corner after taking the checkered flag. Another great second race.
Oh, a little bit of post-race shenanigans going on out there. And if only that was a little bit of real life, you can imagine the bust up in the pit lane afterwards. But alas, it's not. We can wish.
Say what, iRacing create our own virtual avatars. That'd be something. Yeah, everyone just coming across the line now. Stuart Atkinson finishing 39th, and I think Ross Balfour, that car rasping its way across the line. He's going to finish in 40th. Another good race for Balfour. It was looking like it was going to be a good race meeting. But yeah, he comes across the line in 40th, and then just behind him, coming across the line there, Jay Wright finishes in 41st. And of course, we're halfway through the evening. 2 more races to go after this, and 2 more reverse grids. We'll run you through the finishing order then. From the second race of the evening, round 33 of the championship. Dan Hunt takes the win by 0.2 of a second ahead of Julian Janowski, his teammate. With Verke, the pole sitter, getting some useful points for Automech there in 3rd. Russell Laidler in 4th, Dan Kraft 5th, Michael Schalbach the 3rd of the Alfa Tech cars in 6th. 7th for Diego Mauro, 8th Ben Gregory, 9th George Simmons, Pete Newman rounding out the top 10. Another good top 10 there for Alfa for Eclectic Motorsport. 11th Stelin Chepelevsky, 12th Jerome Kaiser, 13th Nathaniel Simpson, 14th was Steve Hefford, Savinovich, as we were saying, 34th to 15th. Liam Atkins in 16th, Ben Hackerson 17th, 18th for Richard Gore, 19th Paul Smith, and 20th was Alex Smolensky. Jamie Rushworth 21st, Matthew Bunn 22nd, Ash Sutton 23rd. He had been working his way through the field, having picked up a killer slowdown penalty, and then he had to try and do damage limitation and finish 23rd. 24th Simon Field, 25th was Colin Cunniff, 26th Andrew Whitehead, 27th Rob Graham, 28th was Mark Johnston, David Baker 29th, started 10th, and 30th Nathan Davis, 31st Rob Fagg, 32nd Jake Blackhall, 33rd Laura Bond, 34th Craig Evans, 35th was Peter Van Gaal, 36th Cesario Rizzo, 37th Alex Everett was able to complete the second race after not being able to do so in the first one. 38th Jörg Dankert, 39th Stuart Atkinson, 40th Ross Balfour, 41st, and the driver that would be reversed onto pole if we had a full is Jay Wright, and then 2 laps down Michael Hall, Lee Berridge 6 laps down in 43rd, Scott Malcolm 7 laps down 44th, Jamie Fluke, Winter Series champion, 9 laps down 45th, Kip Stevens involved in that crash on the way onto the banking in 46th, 9 laps down, and then Steve Richardson was off in the infield on the very first lap and finished in 47th. Right then, time for the reverse grid for the 3rd race of the evening, 2nd reverse grid of the night. We nearly had a full in after the race 2 reverse grid. We'll see if it happens in this one. 16 down to 25. And then 2 fulls. Let's have a look at the cars eligible. Liam Atkins, Ben Hackerson, Richard Gore, Paul Smith, Alex Smolensky, Jamie Rushworth, Matt Bunn, Ash Sutton, Simon Field, Colin Cunniff. And if we have a full, it will be Jay Wright. That could be a reverse onto pole. So time to spin the wheel again. Tonight, over to you, Alex.
Here we go then, second time. Like I said, guys, I would love to just nudge it. But I can't. There's no nudge button. Next time. Oh, it's quite close again. Oh, will it? Will it? Stay, don't go to 25. We get one. We get a full.
Well, 41 cars are going to be reversed for the 3rd race of the evening here. Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Jay Wright is going to be the happiest of them all. He's on pole. 2nd is Ross Balfour. So I was saying it's an awful night for him after blowing that engine in race 1 and coming across the line in 40th. He's going to be on the front row. Stuart Atkinson 3rd, Jörg Dankert 4th, and Alex Everett in 5th. We've done it. Got a reverse grid.
That's going to make for a very, very interesting race. I'm just waiting for the live stream to catch up and the crowd is going to go nuts. And they do as well. There we go. All the chats like, yeah! And a couple of sad faces for the ones that realise that they're going to start the battle all the way down in like 40th place.
Dan Hunt will be starting in 41st. Julian Janowski 40th. Yeah, and those guys, even if they finished inside the top 10, they're still going to be starting in the 30s. It's going to be a tough race for those guys. Well, we're so excited about this one. It'll be coming up in a few moments here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. Don't go anywhere. Round 34 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will be coming up after the break.
I'm an engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we're driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with the manufacturer and a race team. Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, and this go around it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
Me and my friends in this place gonna party.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live, and those of you watching on Motors TV. This is round 34 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've just got over 3 minutes to go before we go down to the grid. Time to give you some information about this series. Of course, this is the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. We recently got the accreditation from the British Motorsports Association, and of course this is the championship where drivers are fighting it out for a share up to $20,000, the highest prize fund for any private league on iRacing. And yeah, we're going to be we've started this series in March and we're going all the way through to December, where we'll be finding out who will win the Teams Championship, the Pro Championship and the Pro-Am Championship, taking in some brilliant circuits along the way. We've already raced, of course, at the Nordschleife, and tonight we're racing at Indianapolis. Of course, Alex Simpson, iRacing World Championship driver. I'll hand it over to him to explain to you about the wonderful service that we're running on, which is iRacing.
Yeah, of course. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to race number 3. Of course, Adam, I just want to touch on what you were saying there as well. Biggest independent league on iRacing and sim racing. No other series has the kind of prize pool that this series has. It's only the World Championship events that even come close to it as well. Every episode on Motors TV, I mean, MSA approval, absolutely fantastic. Head on over to BritishSimRacers.com to find out more about the series. Get involved. It's a great series. We can have up to 60 cars on circuit. This one's limited to 47, and we've got all 47 grid spots taken. It's amazing. But this is all run on iRacing. If you don't know anything about iRacing, head on over to iRacing.com. From there, you can sign up. All you need is a PC, a basic wheel and pedal set, and you get yourself up and running. There's not only is there road racing, but there's oval racing as well. So you fancy yourself a bit of an oval whiz, then sign up and join. You can work your way all the way through the rookies, all the way up into the latest stock cars, and have a lot of fun. And we've got everything from the Mazda MX-5s that you just saw on the adverts before the start of this broadcast, as all the way up to the McLaren MP430 Formula 1 car as well. Lots of series. Ever popular Formula Renault 2.0 has been extremely successful as well. Hundreds of races all through the week. Get involved. Head on over to iRacing.com.
There is a race literally every hour for every championship, so definitely plenty to get you occupied here on iRacing.com. And of course it also allows you to race at your own level as well, so it doesn't put you in with the guys that are a few seconds quicker than you. It puts you in and amongst drivers of your capability. So yeah, definitely head over to iRacing.com. Is it the promo code PR-BSRTC? We'll get you 3 months for the price of 1.
Indeed, and of course check the description at the bottom of the video as well. Get yourself $30 off of JCL Sim products as well, using the code 5VATA1K. There we go, we'll get it in, plugged completely as well. Link to their website where you can get the discounts is in the description.
Great, and I think we've now set the scene for the rest of the evening. Race 3 is on the way. We're just about to head down to the grid as Ash Sutton has a huge crash going into turn 13 on the oval with Liam Atkins. But here's the grid then, 41 cars reversed for this race. Jay Wright on pole, Ross Balfour alongside him, Stuart Atkinson third, Jörg Dankert fourth, Alex Everett in fifth, sixth Cesare Rizzo, 7th Peter Van Gool, 8th Craig Evans, 9th is Lord Bond, and 10th Jake Blackpool, 11th Rob Fagg, 12th Nathan Davis, 13th David Baker, 14th Mark Johnston, 15th Rob Graham, 16th Andrew Whitehead, 17th Colin Cunniff, 18th Simon Field, 19th Ashley Sutton, 20th Matt Bunn, 21st Jamie Rushworth, 22nd Alex Malensky, 23rd is Paul Smith, 24th Richard Gore, 25th Ben Hackison, 26th Liam Atkins, 27th Wojciech Savidovic, 28th Steve Hefford, 29th Nathaniel Simpson, Jerome Kaiser in 30th, 31st Stalin Chepelevsky, 32nd Pete Newman, 33rd George Simmons, 34th Ben Gregory, 35th Diego Melro, 36th Michael Schellback, 37th Dan Kraft, 38th Russell Laidler, 39th Roy Ververke, and 40th is Julian Janowski. And that's as many as we can do, because round 33 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship is underway.
Yeah, great start again from everybody, all the way back around the grid. Where is Jay? Is he going to get a good start? He looks like he's under a little bit of pressure, but might be able to hold them off going into turn 1. I think he has done as well. Oh, there's a big accident further back. That's going to cause absolute carnage. Will we have a safety car? We might do. No, we've not, because somehow it's spread out. Oh, they're ricocheting all over the place.
Smolenski off, Shellback off, Smith's slow.
Oh, people rejoining left, right and centre as well, just into the traffic. Loads of people with slow down penalties as well. So very, very messy start this time. Race number 3, but we are away and going.
41 cars reversed, of course. Ross Balfour leads then, top 10 in qualifying, had an engine blown and was being unlucky in the second race. Did well in the Kia Cup, of course, on Tuesday or Wednesday night, and now he's leading them around the second half of the lap. Close behind. Sutton on the move, down the inside. Oh, and he hits, who's that he hit? He hit Nathan Davis. Davis is pointing the right direction, but yeah, bit of contact there. Down the inside goes Craig Evans. He hits Davis again, and that's going to allow Laura Bond to get in the mix as well as we're going to head onto the banking for the first time here. Let's see if they're all going to get through this safely. Of course, last season we had a huge crash, and battle for second is on. Down the inside, Jay Wright and Alex Everett going at it. Alex Everett, a Kia Club Series driver, I think, and now they're going at it. Through the final corner, down the front straight to get the first lap in the books.
Craig Evans into the pits as well. Problems with him. I'm looking at Dan Kraft and Wojciech Savidovic side by side going through the oval section. Everett as well, maybe going for a move on Jay Wright here. Wright holds on. But now, I tell you, it's, Everett looks particularly racy. He's having a look up the inside into turn 4. Will he manage to get the good run? He has got an extremely good run out of there. They're going to be side by side through the right-hander. Wright's going to have it surely for the left. No, he doesn't. Everett cuts him off, and that's up and into second place for him.
This is all doing wonders for Ross Balfour. Balfour pulling away straight away, and up the inside there goes, that is Cesario Rizzo. Rizzo tries to get past Jay Wright there, just no way through. Another good result at the moment for Stuart Atkinson in the Eclectic Motorsports car. He's up there inside the top 10, but he's coming under pressure from Mark Johnston. Johnston looking to the inside here. Is he alongside? He is, but I don't think he's up. Oh, he's having a go. At the same time, Cesario Rizzo going at it with Wright through this very quick left section. Rizzo back trying to get back, and off goes Jay Wright. Jay Wright off, he's going to come back on. There's contact surely, and it happens. They both go sideways, and this is surely going to give both positions to Mark Johnston, and it forces Stuart Atkinson onto the grass as well. Who's this coming through? It's the two Race Up with CQR cars, introducing David Baker and Ash Sutton. These two are now going to try and take positions away from Wright and Johnston. Whoa, I thought Baker was going to quarter panel Mark Johnston there, but we're heading off of the banking, and now this is a great battle unfolding.
Yeah, somehow these guys have got themselves to the front. I know they're about 20-something on the last place, on the last result, but still, they've come flying through so quickly. I'm not surprised. It's going to be tough. I think Balfour up front, though, should be able to give those guys a run for the money, but Baker very, very strong, taking a little bit of time to get by Johnston. Having a look on that next right-hander as well. Johnson just covers the line nicely. Everett scrambling away while these guys are battling as well. There's a massive train behind. You can just see it side by side as well. You've got Peter Van Gaal and Stuart Atkins behind them. It's Whitehead and Simon Field. Robert Graham also side by side with him as Field runs just a little bit wide. Field trying to filter back in front of Chepalewski. That doesn't quite happen. And you've got Savidovic there as well. So really quick guys coming through now. It's going to be... just about avoids major contact there. That's some great driving, and all of a sudden Field loses the rear end of that Simpson Racing car, and he's collected it back up again. I think that was Nathan Davis behind as well. It's getting interesting out there now. This is why we love reverse grids. Reverse grids.
We need more of these. 41 cars reverse. George Simmons and Nathan Davis. Davis has definitely had a field day in this third race, and we're only 3 laps in. Through the banking and start lap 4. Let's see if any passes going on the front. Yes, Sutton's got past Mark Johnston. Him and his teammate David Baker are on their way. Baker started in 13th, Sutton started in 19th. It's all unfolding behind, though. The Eclectic Motorsports car there trying to get through. Peter Van Gaal in the mix as well for Mainland Racing. Eclectic Motorsport there, side by side. And Andrew Whitehead going to try and get past Atkinson, and he hits his teammate. And this is going to allow Peter Van Gaal to try and get in the mix here. And I think it might have done severe damage to Stuart Atkinson's car. Yeah.
That's not the best, but we'll let the team managers sort that one out later on. So, yeah, not ideal at all.
And it's George Simmons trying to get on his way. Hefford.
Oh, Hefford there as well. Yeah, just got run out a little bit wide. He's going to lose a whole boatload of places. Who was that was coming through? You got a couple of Apex cars in and amongst that as well. Fluke obviously had that disaster race, so he needs a good one now. Up to 20th place already. He's got his teammate Gore just ahead of him. Then you've got Daniel Hunt, Pete Newman in 24th, Nathaniel Simpson in 25th. Wherever we look, there's battles separating by 0.2 of a second. Just going on everywhere.
Savidovic running into the back of Peter Van Gool, and this is allowing Chepalevsky and Field to get in the mix. Nathan Davis now battling away with Dan Kraft. He's escaped the clutches of George Simmons for now. They're trying to get onto the back of that friction racing car. This is a brilliant battle to watch here. Savidovic trying to get past Peter Van Gool. He's going for it into turn 13, the long right-hand banked curve. Here on the Indy. Oh, he hits the grass and bounces back up the track. Don't know whether that was in the plan. And now here comes Chepalevsky. We could be about to go 3 wide here across the line. Savidovic's straight line speed has really been scuppered by those putting those 2 wheels in the grass. And now it's turn 1. Who's going to be out in front? Should be Van Gool, I think. But Chepalevsky's going around the outside. He's got the inside line for turn 2. But Savidovic will go around the outside there and has got the position back.
Kraft and Field as well, battling just behind. It looks like there's a little battle going on just ahead of that. I think that's Dankert there as well.
Nathan Davis was in it. He's just got hit again by George Simmons. He's definitely a problem for
Rizzo losing a place there as well. Jay Wright and Rizzo having a little battle.
Cesare Rizzo there, yeah. He's dropped. He's now lost that position to Wright. Who's that behind? Jörg Dankert. Dankert started in 4th place, but he's doing a good job here up inside the top 10. These guys that we don't often see at the front on route for some good positions here. We're at the halfway mark of this race, lap 5 out of 10. But the big guys are starting to work their way to the front. Savidovic in 12th. Chepalevsky in 13th. What's going on back there? Simon Field getting past Peter Van Gool. And now here we go, onto the banking again. Cesare Rizzo and Jay Wright. This battle doesn't look resolved just yet. Rizzo to the inside, Wright on the outside. Not much grip out there, of course. The marbles do build up over the 4 races tonight. And Rizzo will have the inside line into turn 1, it looks like, and he cuts across. That's how that's how faster he was through that corner.
Yeah, Rizzo held on nicely, I think. Oh no, late move there from Jay. I thought for a moment he was going to get it back. Oh, someone's turned there. I think that's Peter Van Gool around.
Yes,
no, it's not. It's not. It's
Dankert.
Dankert around.
The commentator
oh dear, he's slipping down the order. I can't even select him as he's going so fast down the order. But oh jeez, look at that, 32nd place.
Got hit by Rob Graham. Rob Graham continues on his way in 9th place now. But yeah, terrible for Jörg Dankert and Mainland Racing, where 2 cars up inside the top 10. They've now got Peter Van Gool to try and uphold their good finish, but 2x2 actually down the back straight. Savidovic and Andrew Whitehead going at it now. The Season 6 champion trying to go around the outside. Jay Wright's just trying to stay in the mix here. Chepalevsky around the outside of him, which will become the inside. But then the inside will fall back to Jay Wright. There's a brilliant series of corners here. And now Cheppy's going to go around the outside. No way through there, and now you better be careful, because here comes Dan Kraft.
Yeah, that's extremely tight there for a minute. And Chepalevsky has to bail out of that. I think he realised if he'd have tried to push that any more there, then there would have been some sort of major incident. Sensible driving from him. Savidovic ahead.
He's trying to get past Andrew Whitehead. These two, of course, veterans of the series. Whitehead has been around a fair bit, as has Savidovic. Savidovic down the inside then. In the background, it's all going crazy there. Nathan Davis involved in something. 3 wide into turn 1. Eclectic Motorsports car and Jamie Fluke, Winter Series champion, involved there. And Nathan Davis hits Simmons. These two seem to be stuck to each other. I thought they were going to hit each other again then. Oh, and someone who is getting hit is Jerome Kaiser and Peter Van Gool. Van Gool is off. He's off. He is nearly off. And he's lost the position to Hefford, and he's going to lose another one to Dan Hunt.
Yeah, loses a lot. Just lost all the momentum there, didn't he? Just was snaking the car, trying to get it back under control. Couldn't quite do that, and ran a little bit wide on that right-hander. Laura Bond all the way down in 20 seconds. She's struggling as well. Got some damage on the front of her car. She was a lot higher. I wonder what happened. Something we must have missed, because normally she'll hold her own in these sort of battles, but hasn't quite been able to in this particular event.
The teammate Cesare Rizzo is holding Wojciech Savidovic. Spicer Hart versus Sim Racer.
Battle for P2, about to kick off. Adam, here we go. Dave Baker right on the tail of Alex Everett. This is about all he's going to do. Get out to P2. Ross Balfour too far ahead up front, but a move down and into turn 1. Looks like a straightforward slipstream move. Can Everett try to wing it round the outside? No, he can't. He settles back in behind, and just if he wants to play it sensible, he really needs to just try and tag onto the back of Baker. But I know for a fact Sutton will not let that happen and just sneak straight up the inside. You leave that door open there, and well, it will get taken.
Straight away, only needs the smallest gap, and no one does actually start to know that better than the British Touring Car Championship, and working his magic once again here in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. That's him up to 3rd. These two started in 13th and 19th, and now they're up into the podium positions. We're going to get 2 laps until we get to line.
Kraft is around. He spun on the inside of, I think that's, turn 7. He's trying to sneak around nasty. Reverse gear, you've got a reverse gear. Oh dear, I thought for a minute he was going to do it. What actually happened there? This is just going to be the aftermath. Let me go back another one, just so we can see exactly what happened, because pretty major for Kraft. I mean, let's put him down in 38th place.
Yeah, the amount of cars have gone by. He's off a long way before that corner, Alex. He's off on the entry into it. They've just gone through the right-hand kink. It's Andrew Whitehead, quarter panel, and then Kraft goes across the infield grass, and then position stops the car and puts the brake right on the apex of that hairpin.
Yeah, just watching the replay now, we can see him going through turns 3, 4. Whitehead just got a little bit wide. That's what allowed Kraft alongside and makes him just a tiny little bit vulnerable. He just hit the curb, and yeah, there he goes. Nothing worse. He doesn't even try to correct it, because he just knows there's no point. But does the right thing and drags the brake pedal. Everybody just has to take the slightly wider line. The pain, the torture. He wanted to go, and then decides not.
So waiting at a stop sign, and David Baker and Ash Sutton then, they were a second quicker than Ross Balfour last time around. The gap at the line, 2.3 seconds on the penultimate lap. So even if they go at the rate that they're going, it might not just be enough for them to try and take this win away from Ross Balfour, who's led almost every single, in fact has led every single lap. Let's have a look at those battles that are going on further back though, because they are non-stop.
18th place I'm looking at right now, that's Pete Newman with Laura Bond just behind him. Ahead is Steve Hefford. They're in a pretty tight, fierce battle, and behind them you've got Shellback, Peter Van Gool side by side as well. You've got Gregory, Liam Atkinson just behind them side by side. There are 2x2 for quite a few. Who was that? Just diving out there.
Hefford's going down the inside of Graham, and he hits Graham. Graham goes sideways but gets the car positioned straight again. Easy to do with a foot full of throttle, and this is so close. Hefford and Pete Newman up the inside. It goes over. That'll surely be a slowdown.
That will be a slowdown, I'm sure, for Pete. Disaster when it's the penultimate lap. It doesn't look like it's. What was that? Who was that?
That was Ben Gregory, I think. He's off into the wall. There's a bit of a I'm sure that was a quarter panel, but yeah, Pete Newman's deserving that slowdown penalty. I don't know where he is and whether he served it or not, but at the same time, Graham and Hefford, they're going at it 2x2 down the front straight, and the Alpha Tech car Shellback's going to make it 3 wide here, and Laura Bond could be about to get in the mix as well as they come across the line. Look at this, well, 10 plus cars involved here. It's turn 1. Matt Bunn involved, Liam Atkins. Now on the final lap of the race.
Like the start of most ordinary races. This is the last lap of the BSR TC Championship, and I tell you what, that's a fierce battle out there right now. 1.7 seconds is the lead for Balfour. He's got this one covered with just a few corners to go. Will Ash Sutton try and take points away from David Baker? I don't think he will. Alex Everett doing a great job, just in 4th place. Awesome result for him. Mark Johnston as well. He's had his issues, but still in 5th place. Savidovic up into 6th. Chepelevsky 7th. Great drive from those guys. But it's all about Ross Balfour coming around that final corner.
Yeah, here comes Ross Balfour, one of the shining stars of the BSR TZ for this season. Started as a rookie, of course, out at Phillip Island. Made a name for himself there, and he's going to come off of the final corner here, turn 13, and take the checkered flag. Round 34 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship does go to Ross Balfour, second in the end. David Baker just ahead of Ash Sutton. 1.5 seconds was the gap in the end. Alex Everett, well-deserved fourth. Mark Johnston fifth. Savinovic 27th to sixth. Cesario Rizzo finishes in seventh. We'll finish in eighth, ahead of Chepelevsky, who went from 31st to seventh. Let's have a look at this battle then. Laura Bond and the likes all coming off at turn 4 now. Whoa! And a huge one. And there's a CQR car involved. And they're all flying. Sim Racer car. There's an Alpha Tech flying across the line. Julian Janowski finishes in style there. Straight out of Talladega Nights, that. And
checkers or wreckers.
Finished in 25th. Oh, and it's still not over. We've got a CQR Academy car on its roof. That's Liam Atkins, I think. Yes, it is.
Oh, I've got to watch that again. That was epic.
Julian Janowski's just like, have at it.
Who was it? Was it Janowski? Was it that? Oh,
yeah, that finished.
Here we go.
Julian Janowski then finished in 25th. Let's have a look. Heading through turn 13 to finish his race in style. I'm going to go on board camera with him as well.
It wasn't Janowski. It started off a lot earlier than that. I'm not sure who
Liam
it was.
Atkins.
Oh, was it Liam? Because I tell you what, they were rolling for ages down there. Whoa, where are you?
And then if you go on board with Janowski, he just gets an unexpected force from behind, and then he joins in the flipping action as well. And it's a Sim Racer car that joins him. It's Kip Stevens. Stevens goes into the back of Janowski and sends him for a wild ride across the line. Don't think anyone's finished across the yard of bricks like that before.
Oh, do you know what as well? Poor Liam!
Hasn't crossed the line.
He didn't even cross the line! Oh, everybody else crossed it upside down, but Liam, there's like a yard of bricks. Well, it's not a yard away, but maybe 10 yards away. But how gutting is that? Oh.
Janowski did get across the line. But yeah, what a finish to that one.
He just needed somebody else to hit him and he'd have been alright. Oh dear.
Shame he couldn't run across the line. Just finish those extra few yards.
Just poke his head out of the car. Come on!
But yeah, what a finish and what a race. 41 cars. We knew it was going to provide a whole lot of action there. And boy, it did. Great battles throughout the field and some great results for some of those guys that you might not see at the front. Let's run you through the finishing order then. Ross Balfour takes a win for him. Brilliant job for Friction Racing. David Baker in second, 13th to second, and after a good results at Twin Ring Motegi a week ago, he's got another one here. Ash Sutton in third, the race one winner of course, Alex Everett fourth, Mark Johnston fifth, Wojciech Savinovic in sixth, still trying to work his way back up through the field after serving that back of the grid penalty in race 1. He gets a top 10. 7th for Chepelevsky, 8th was Cesario Rizzo, 9th Andrew Whitehead, 10th Simon Field. Jamie Fluke, 45th to 11th. What a result. George Simmons, 12th. Jerome Kaiser, 13th. 14th was Dan Hunt. 15th, Jay Wright. 16th, Michael Shellback. 17th, Steve Hefford. 18th, Laura Bond. 19th, Pete Newman. 20th, Nathaniel Simpson. 21st, Peter Van Gool. He did start 7th. 22nd, Richard Gore. 23rd, Russell Laidler. 24th, Kip Stevens. 25th, flying across the finish line on his way to the end was Julian Janowski. Diogo Melro in 26th. 27th, Michael Hall. 28th, Matt Bunn. 29th, Paul Smith. And 30th was Scott Malcolm. 31st, Lee Berridge. 32nd was Roy Faverke. 33rd was Ben Gregory. 35th was Jörg Dankert, getting that little tap into the first corner. Really jeopardised his race. 35th was Dan Kraft. 36th for Steve Richardson. And the cars one lap down or more. Rob Graham, Liam Atkins, Alex Smolensky. Liam Atkins, of course, so close to finishing that race. Alex Smolensky, 39th. Another car, I think, that was on his roof. 40th was Craig Evans. 41st, Ben Hackerson. And then 3 laps down, 42nd was Nathan Davis. Stuart Atkinson, 6 laps down, 43rd. Rob Fagg, 44th, 9 laps down. And also 9 laps down were 45th, Jamie Rushworth. 46th, Jake Blackhall. And 47th, Colin Cunniff.
Yeah, Colin was involved, I think, in the car that darted to the right and then to the left, and he got collected in that, unfortunately. So, yeah, not happy bunny at all on the live chat that was after that. But what a great race! Looking forward to the final race, I tell you.
Tell you what, we need,
That's anything to go by. I think this fourth and final race is going to be awesome.
Well, I need another full reverse grid, of course. 41 cars would be reversed again. We had a full, and of course we've got 2 slots on that Wheel of Fortune to do so. Well, let's have a look at the contenders that are eligible for the reverse grid for the 4th race of the evening, round 35 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. The cars that are eligible are Jay Wright, pole sitter in race 3, the one we were just watching there. Michael Shellback, Steve Hefford, Laura Bond, Pete Newman, Nathaniel Simpson, Peter Van Gool, Richard Gore, Russell Laidler, Kip Stevens, Julian Janowski, and if we have a full 41, it is Ben Hackerson. So over to you, Alex, then. Spin the wheel for the final time tonight.
Here we go then. What are we going to end up with? I don't think we're going to get to 4. It looks like it could be 19th, is it? No, it might be 23rd. It's pretty close. Yeah, 23rd, so a big one nonetheless.
Russell Laidler is going to be reversed onto pole. Richard Gore alongside him. Peter Van Gool will be starting in 3rd. Nathaniel Simpson 4th. And Pete Newman in 5th. Great way to end that race. And great battles throughout the evening as well. And especially in that 3rd race. Brilliant to watch. Of course, we've got one more race to go. And we're going to step aside for just a few moments here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Moses TV. But stay with us as round 35 of the championship will be coming up after the break. Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. This is round 35 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship and the fourth race of the night here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Adam Bath here with iRacing World Championship driver Alex Simpson. We're just about 2.5 minutes away from getting down to the grid and getting ready for the final race of the night. Looking at the championship standings heading into this race, Wojciech Savidovic leads new second place man Stelian Czepelewski by 99 points. Simon Field in third, Alex Malensky down 2 places to fourth, Michael Schellbach in fifth, Richard Gore in sixth, seventh Ben Hackerson, eighth Pete Newman, ninth Jamie Rushworth, and 10th it is Dan Hunt, who's joint 10th with Ross Balfour, who took that win in race 3. Over in the AM standings, Paul Smith has extended his lead since the beginning of the evening. He's 118 points now ahead of Roy Ververke, Jay Wright third, Scott Malcolm fourth, and Nick McCarron in fifth. And judging from their results tonight, it is no surprise that our Valatech have leapfrogged Apex Racing in the team standings. They now lead Apex by 50 points. Simpson Racing now in third, ahead of Race Upper CQR in fourth. Friction Racing fifth, Sim Racer sixth, CQR Academy seventh, Engine Oils Direct in eighth, Eclectic Motorsport ninth, and Automech in 10th. Quickly look at the safest driver. It still is Ashley Blake Hood at the top of that, with Ben Gregory second, Maciek Sakovic in third. Well done, Alex. Not as big a reverse grid as we had in the third race, but I still think 23 cars reversed. There's still going to be a whole lot of action to watch again.
Yeah, I think we'd normally be looking at 23 and saying that's a large reverse grid, but when we've just seen 40, yeah, not so much. But I still think it'll be a good race nonetheless. The grid is a little bit mixed up from the last race still as well, so a lot to go on out there.
Just before we head down to the grid, a reminder, of course, that Apex Racing TV really is your home of the Kia. We have got the BSR the World Series on a Saturday night, and the Kia Club Series on the Sunday night as well.
Let's not forget as well on Saturday this week as well, it's the European Stock Car Championship, Sunday during the day as well. It'll be 2 o'clock GMT this week. This is iRacing Grand Prix Series. That series is concluding pretty quickly now. Championship battle starting to heat up, so we will take that series title. So yeah, lots of broadcasts, and as well as our little community setup videos that often find their way onto our YouTube channel as well. Don't forget to check those out.
Next week, the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship heads to Virginia International Raceway. Good race there last season. Remember that one well, and we have 62 grid spots available for that one, so watch out there. Very big grids expected. And then we continue our tour of North America, because when we head to Lime Rock Park on the 26th of May and then Alton Park on the 2nd of June, we head on one of our first off weeks of the season. I wonder what the championship will be looking like before then. Hopefully we'll have Andrew Woodhouse back with us, of course. He'll be racing at Montreal, the circuit where he took his first BSRTC win. So we'll see how he goes around there. But tonight the focus is on what's happening here at Indy, and time for the cars to get down to the grid. Let's have a look at the grid then. Russell Laidler on pole, Richard Gore second, Peter Van Goor third, Nathaniel Simpson fourth, Pete Newman fifth, Laura Bond sixth, seventh Steve Hefford, eighth Michael Schellbach, 9th Jay Wright, 10th Dan Hunt, 11th Sharon Kaiser, 12th George Simmons, 13th Jamie Fluke, 14th Simon Field, 15th Andrew Whitehead, 16th Cesario Rizzo, 17th Stelian Czepelewski, 18th Wojciech Savidovic, 19th Mark Johnston, and 20th Alex Everett, 21st Ash Sutton, 22nd David Baker, and 23rd is our race 3 winner, Ross Balfour. Alex, Russell Laidler at the front for Alpha Tech. Him and Richard Gore, I predict quite a good battle between those two.
Yeah, exactly. Battling for not only a little bit of pride between the drivers, but also the teams. That championship particularly close. Who will take it?
Here we go then. Round 35 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship is underway. Laidler gets away well and doesn't have much challenge from Richard Gore, who slots in behind, but a man on the move is Pete Newman. He's coming up through the middle here. Started 5th on the grid, looks like he's about to take 3rd as we head into the first corner. Are we going to see any contact like we saw in race 3? We're all working our way through. Nathan Davis isn't off like a Formula Drift car there. Off is it's not Czepelewski, it's one of the Engine Oil Direct cars. It was just sideways for a brief moment, but he's able to get going. I hear contacts, and there's a big crash on our way. Andrew Whitehead is off, Cesario Rizzo is off.
Yeah, Richard Gore as well, flying down the order, so problems
Balfour
for him.
Off. Ross Balfour's off at the gravel. gravel. No more contact, surely. Jörg Dankert's off. Should continue though. Oh, dearie me, it's all going on at the back. But yeah, meanwhile, they're all filtering their way through and onto the back straight. And who's in front? It is still Laidler, but the Alfa Latek cars are on the move. Who's out in third? It is Michael Shellback trying to get past Pete Newman. See what happens.
Pete got a great start actually, and manages to jump those few places. So I think Nathaniel Simpson and himself will try and give these Alfa Latek guys a little bit of a run for their money. Laura Bond just sat behind them. Peter Van Gaal in there as well. Dan Hunt in 8th. Then we've got Steve Hefford and George Simmons rounding out the top 10 as they come across the start-finish line to finish the first lap.
Let's see what Shellback can do then on Pete Newman as they come across the line. Shellback started in 8th on the grid up to 3rd, so a fantastic first lap there by the Alfa Latek driver, and he's about to make an Alfa Latek 1-2. In fact, he does. Down the inside he goes into the first corner, and that's a done deal there. Ash Sutton on the move.
Little bit of coming together there as well. I think that was George Simmons and I think it was Steve Hefford initially.
Yes, it was.
But Simmons has lost another place to Sutton there as well.
And he's about to come under pressure from Simon Field as well. Ash Sutton having a very good night so far. Right through the hairpin, Laura Bond battling away with Peter Van Gaal. And now these two are going to go onto the back straight. Peter Van Gaal has to take a defensive line there. Laura Bond's going to get a good run off it. And now they're going down the back straight for the second time here. Whoa, Sutton down the inside of Hefford. That's a late move there by the MG driver. Around the outside, he locks the brakes and goes into the side of him. Back down the inside he goes. At the same time, number 5, Dan Hunt's battling away. Hefford is forced wide by Sutton and loses the place to George Simmons. And could be about to lose another one to Dan Crafts, who gets forced onto the grass there and loses the position to Stelin Chepelevsky, and possibly another one to Jamie Fluke.
I said a protest incoming for that move there. There's no way Sutton's staying on the race circuit. If it wasn't for the car to the right of him there, used nicely as brakes. Takes a great exit there with that little nerf. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a protest incoming.
Bump and run, sort of. Don't think it was as big as a smash and grab. But anyway, lap 3. On to lap 3 we go. Laura Bond trying to get past Van Gaal. Nathaniel Simpson battling away with Pete Newman, those two Simpson Racing teammates.
Jamie Rush was with some problems. I think that's just connection related. Steve Hefford and closing on Jamie Fluke. It might be the other way around. Fluke's car looks a little bit banged up, so might well be. Sim Racer magazine car there having a little look, but Fluke holds on to that, so everybody just sort of finding their feet at the moment. Sutton on Laura Bond is up next. A few drivers just weaving around trying to find some places. Jay Wright, Mark Johnston in the background just changing positions too. Don't know where to look in this pack as well. There's just this huge change from 5th place Peter Van Gaal all the way down to Cesaro Rizzo in 29th. There's nothing more than half a second separating any car.
Off of turn 13 we go. Jörg Danker also to 44th place. He's going to be under pressure in a moment because the leaders are coming round to start lap 3. Alfa Latek 1 and 2. Then it's Simpson, Newman, then Van Gaal. Close. Look how close these gaps are. Sutton now on the move, trying to get past Van Gaal into turn 1 at the same time. The Simpson Racing car's going at it. And it is Newman ahead of Simpson. Sutton has got past Van Gaal, and now Laura Bond possibly could be about to get past as well. And George Simmons might have picked up a slowdown, and so has Jamie Fluke, I think. He's having to lose a whole load of places. Yeah, slowdown for him as well.
Yeah, big problems there. All that hard work undone, down to 19th place it is now.
Close battles then. Jamie Fluke's just trying to recover. Michael Hall about to get past him, and in fact has got past him, and Jerome Kaiser in the mix there as well. Side by side here, Van Gaal versus Laura Bond. Bond round the outside through the left-hander, bit of contact possibly, I think there was. And Laura Bond there has got past Van Gool. I think that's Laura Bond now into 6th place. But yeah, Ash Sutton continuing to progress forward. Finished finished 3rd in race 3. Won race 1, of course. Wonder what the Alfa Latex cars are doing. Michael Shellback versus Russell Lader. They're very close, and I think Shellback has his sights set on the lead. Of course, Russell Lader, I think, is a reserve driver for the Alfa Latex team. Michael Shellback, of course, more focused on scoring the points, possibly for the Drivers' Championship, of course. So over the line we go and into turn 1. Round the outside, and Shellback has got the move done. Good driving there by the Alfa Latex team.
Yeah, Sutton as well, just completes a move on Pete Newman. I say completes, it was more of a mistake from Newman, just ran in a little bit hot into turn 1, concedes the place. Chepalewski and Peter Van Gool going side by side as well. Chepalewski up the inside and into 7th place. We've got Dan Hunt there as well. This meeting just gets better and better for Alfa Latex. These cars are everywhere. Van Gool runs very, very wide and loses a place to Steve Hefford, it was there. Dave Baker, George Simmons, they're side by side. I hear some contact in the background as well.
Wouldn't be surprised if it was Everett and is that Kai's? Is that Jay Wright going at it? Johnston down the inside of him. Very close there. Everett pinned on the outside. Might be losing position there for Johnston. And where do you look? David Baker now going around the outside. And he is through.
Yeah, Everett can't quite hold on. Tries his best. Nothing coming off. Dropping down a few places. Just want to check in a little bit further back. We've got Colin Cunniff in 32nd place. He's got Liam Atkins, Jake Blackall. We haven't seen too much of them today. Jamie Rushworth all the way down in 30th place. Been a bit of a shocking meeting for him. Paul Smith is down in 38th place. 37th is Lee Berridge just ahead of him as well. We've got Rob Fagg having some sort of issues. He's into the pits. Looks like maybe Kaiser side by side with Gianowski at the moment. Going into turn 1 as well. Will Kaiser come out on top? Been away for a few race meetings, in as a reserve for Engine Oil Direct tonight.
Jamie Fluke also trying to get past Alex Everett. And up in front of them, Simon Field trying to get past Jay Wright and Simmons out wide. Might lose a position there to the number 11 car of Dan Kraft, Ross Balfour and yeah, Simon Field in the mix there as well.
Oh, Field was out extremely wide there. Has he got away without a slowdown? I think he might just have done. It's a crazy place. You extend there, but you actually do get a slow down. One of the only few places that you can do that for actually extending. Oh, Everett in so hot there. Just about holds it together. He's going to have a compromised line, and I think that was Fluke just skimming the grass on the way into the final corner, trying to size up Everett with a wide apex there. Gets it all wrong, and now he's under all sorts of pressure once again and back down to 19th.
So close this here.
We're watching Simmons and Field with Kraft just behind. Jay Wright ahead of them. You can see battles going on in front. That's Baker just in the right at the bottom of the screen, trying to put a move on as well.
Oh, yeah, Baker trying to get past Van Gool. On the outside he goes. Oh, there's a car flipping in the background. There's a CQR Academy car on its roof, and it's Liam Atkins, the man that was on his roof in. Liam Atkins again.
Let's see what happened, how he managed to get there.
It was a sim racer car again.
A second. Oh no. Those teams are going to be at it in the pit lane.
Flipping and rolling, and yeah, ends this time. No,
this is why
he ends on his roof again.
This is why we need these massive arenas where we all meet up again, because the aftermath would be brilliant. Oh, look at that little nerf into the wall. Oh, that would definitely get some retaliation if he'd be straight down, kicking at his rig now. You can imagine it. Oh, come on, it's got to happen. We've got to do one race at some point where we're all going to a big arena and do it.
Tell you what, the iRacing British Sim Racers Arena, that'll be something to watch there. On lap 7, about to start lap 8. Here comes Russell Layler, possibly to try and take the lead back away from Shellback. In fact, actually, it might be Shellback going down the inside, is it? No, it is Layla going down the inside into the first corner. And that's a done deal there. These two so far in front, really, they can afford to do this. I was wondering then that Shellback might have picked up a slowdown, and he has. Unfortunately for him, those two are battling away, and he might be serving a big one here. Sutton now trying to get past Pete Newman.
Yeah, huge really there. I don't know, that was such a long slowdown for a Shellback. It's put him 2.7 seconds back, so I don't know what the problem was there. Just didn't seem to want to go away. Dan Hunt, Laura Bond as well, just jumped on board with Dan. He's around the outside of Laura. There's Laura. She just pokes into view. Dan just couldn't quite hold it around the outside, and all of a sudden Hefford's putting a little bit of pressure on him. Gets a great exit. Really get to the left, using as much of the slipstream as he can. Maybe dart out for the left-hander. Hunt trying to go around the outside of Laura Bond here as well. Bond, she's managed to hold it there. She'll have the advantage for the left-hand part of it. This little chicane does that, just cuts off Hunt. Hunt maybe sticks his nose in the final corner. He does. That's so risky, but it's not risky for him, of course. It's Laura that's vulnerable. As soon as that rear quarter panel gets touched, around she would have gone.
That quarter panel so dangerous. Yeah, 2 laps to go. Where's the time gone here? Laura Bond doing a great job then, up in 7th place. Simpson Racing and Friction Racing going at it now. In fact, it's actually the 2 Simpson Racing cars. They're so hard to tell apart. Simpson versus Newman. Into the first corner.
These guys have been having a good little battle all race long, actually, and they're just sort of using Sutton's slipstream there to try and pull them back up towards the Alpha Tech cars. It's not going to happen. They're too far ahead and too quick as well, but they might still have an opportunity to throw one down the inside of Ashley Sutton.
Final few laps, and Michael Shellback could be under pressure actually from them if he doesn't get a move on. Last time around 132.7, but of course he did pick up a slowdown, so hopefully he should be able to hold on. But yeah, Laura Bond now trying to put the pressure on the Alpha Tech car of Dan Hunt. Laura Bond on fire here. 132.3 last time around. Dan Hunt did exactly the same, and now she needs to watch out because David Baker's in the mirrors as well. Just behind them we've got Steve Hefford, Simon Field, Dan Kraft, Alex Everett, George Simmons and Michael Hall all going at it. And further back we've got a mainland car that looks like it's picked up a slowdown of some sort. Jörg Dankert going slow.
Yeah, a huge pack, huge gaggle behind. That really stems from Alex Everett in 13th all the way down to 30th place Smolenski now. So that little gaggle just hasn't broke up all race long. Chepalevsky now with a chance to see if he can move up and into 5th place. Didn't quite get the final oval corner right. Will get a run. Will he get him by? We've seen that Alpha Tech car perhaps doesn't have the greatest straight line speed. Once again, he's trying to use the draft the best he can. He's going to have to go all the way around the outside. There's a battle going on in the background too. Nothing this time for Cheppy. He's going to have to do something in the infield section if he's going to make that work.
But also our final lap then.
Hefford and Kraft side by side.
Hefford and Kraft, yeah it is. Oh, that's close, and Hefford's going to go late on the brakes. We're only outside. There is grip out there. We saw Richard Gore working that line well, but just he wasn't alongside enough to get past Dan Kraft. It's not over though, but I think Kraft has got the position into that hairpin. What's going out?
Behind them as well, Hall and Everett. We were just seeing them. I think they've just hit each other in the background. You can just see them going through the left-hander and then the right as well, just on the edge of our screen. We're going to have to switch to the leader, I'm afraid. He's cycling the final sector of the racetrack now. Russell Laidler, great race for him.
Great race for him and for Alpha Tech. A great evening for Alpha Tech. I don't know whether did they get the win in race 2. I can't even remember. There's so much action that's unfolded tonight. But anyway, Russell Laidler coming through the final corner, the banked curve at turn 13 here at Indianapolis. Round 35 of the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will go to Alpha Tech and to Russell Laidler. Laidler takes the win. Second, Michael Shellback. Third in the end for Ashley Sutton. Another podium for him. Fourth, Nathaniel Simpson. Fifth for Pete Newman, is it? Or has Chepalevsky pipped him at the line? It is just Pete Newman, a 100th of a second ahead of Chepalevsky. And then Laura Bond finished ahead of Dan Hunt. Great job from Laura Bond in the Spicer Hard car to beat Dan Hunt by just over a 10th of a second. Dan Hunt then in 8th, David Baker in 9th, Simon Field finished in 10th, Dan Craft 11th, finished ahead of Steve Hefford then in the end. George Simmons 13th. Everyone coming across the line. Have we not got any cars on their roofs like we saw in the previous ones? Kip Stevens coming across the line just ahead of Robert Graham. Stuart Atkinson on his own there, and Steve Richardson will be coming across the line all by himself in 38th. Oh, another brilliant fourth race, Alex.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that fourth race. Huge pack throughout that as well. Really didn't know where to look. So yeah, great job by the Alpha Tech guys on that one too.
We'll run you through the finishing order then. Russell Lader takes the win, 1.2 seconds ahead of Michael Schalbach. Oh, what's happening?
Sorry, this is an in-lap as well, but it seems like Sutton wants to be the first one back into the pit lane, and Lader doesn't want to let him. Has a little weave.
Let's have a look at this. Yeah,
has a little weave in front of him as well, and then releases him to get to the pit lane first.
These two, of course.
Oh no, he breaks. Oh, they're just having a bit of fun. Why not? Have it. Reverse donut. Come on, Rusty, do it.
Tell you what, I was watching. Yeah. And he is doing it. He is doing it. There we go. Oh dear me. And that is Michael Schalbach, I think, that's just gone into Ash Sutton. Sutton getting involved in the reverse donuts as well. Oh, and the Simpson racing car just avoids him. Oh, and so does the... Oh, no! The scattering.
Oh, yes.
It's race 4. You can forgive them. They're not going to be using these cars again. Here comes one of the Rushworth coming in head of steam. Great way to end the night. Russell Lader and Sutton, of course, former teammates when CQR, the full team, was in the championship. Whoa! And Sutton takes out Rushworth just on their way into the pits. Oh, and Stevens runs into the back of Sutton. Oh, this is light-hearted, hopefully, of course.
Let's go through to the results now, as the guys are obviously enjoying themselves, but now the night's over.
Yeah. Russell Lader takes the win, 1.2 seconds ahead of Schalbach, 1-2 for Alpha Tech. Definitely improving their team's championship aspirations even more. Sutton in 3rd, Nathaniel Simpson 4th, Pete Newman in 5th, Sterling Chepelewski 6th, Laura Bond 7th, 8th for Dan Hunt, 9th David Baker, and 10th Simon Field, 11th Dan Craft, 12th Steve Hefford, 13th is George Simmons, 14th Alex Everett, 15th Jamie Fluke, the highest of the Apex cars, 16th Michael Hall, 17th Jay Wright, 18th it is Peter Van Gaal, 19th Diego Melro, and 20th is Matt Bunn, 21st Julian Janowski, 22nd Ben Hackerson, 23rd was Colin Cunniff, 24th was Jamie Rushworth from 45th on the grid, 25th was Jerome Kaiser, 26th is Roy Ververke, 27th Alex Malensky, 28th Ben Gregory, 29th Jake Blackhall, and 30th is Scott Malcolm. Ross Balfour finished in 31st, 32nd Paul Smith, 33rd Lee Berridge, 34th Kip Stevens, 35th Rob Graham, 36th Stuart Atkinson, 37th Steve Richardson, and then the cars one lap down or more. We had Craig Evans in 38th, Jörg Dankert 39th, Mark Johnston 40th, 3 laps down, Liam Atkins 41st on his roof, 4 laps down again. 4 laps down also Cesario Rizzo, 6 laps down in 43rd Rob Fagg. Wojciech Savidovic, championship leader, 9 laps down, gets 0 points. And 45th Andrew Whitehead, 46th Richard Gore, and then 10 laps down it is Nathan Davis. And in terms of the championship, where did Szymanski finish? 27th, he did get full points compared to Savidovic, who got 0. Right then, we've got the interview room at the ready. Russell Laidler, our race 4 winner, is there. Let's get him for a quick word. Russell Laidler takes the win then in the 4th race of the evening, and he joins us in the commentary box now. A great night for Alpha Tech and a great win in race 4, Russell.
Yeah, that was absolutely smashing weeks racing this. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Indianapolis working well for this team. What's your opinions of this circuit?
I really like it. I mean, it was in season 5. I took my first ever win here on the last race of the evening, and I've gone and done the same again. So yeah, it's quite a special track to me, really. But racing was really, really good. 3rd race, it was extremely with a full reverse grid, and everyone was being really well behaved. And so close, it was unreal. Really good fun.
Just watching you at the end there, your former teammate Ash Sutton, bit of a race back to the pits, was that, on the way back?
Got to be done, isn't it? You know, not very often I get to do that and hold him off for the win. Extra bragging rights, I suppose. I also out-donuted him as well. So.
I was about to say far superior donuts at the end as well. And that's all that really matters.
Oh yes. Has to be done.
Good
But yeah,
result for Alpha Tech all round tonight as well. It seemed like you guys really excelled. Struggled a little bit on straight line speed, we thought, in the comms box tonight. So Cheppy a couple of times looked like he had the run on Sutton, but just couldn't seem to actually get past once he got there. So tricky track to set up. Were you in two minds of what to do with the wing or whatnot there? Not obviously, don't give away too much, but
I know
yeah,
I
it
was.
just looks like some guys were breezing past, but you guys were really struggling.
I think we kind of went for a higher wing setup than most people. I think Hunt was running a lower wing than. Hunt always runs a different setup to everyone else. The way he sets his cars, it was weird. Sometimes I get on with them, other times no. But I know the likes of Ash and others, they were all running -2 wing. They're constantly trying to maximise the car, if that makes any sense. Stuck on the wing setting I had from the first race all the way through. I think the only thing I changed was the rear toe. The car felt great. Those race 2 and race 3, it was all about managing the tyres, and that's all I did. Just kind of drove around at 80%, and the last 3 or 4 laps started to push a bit. Whereas that last race, it always seems to be when we have cold weather, it's when I start to perform. Weather in that race compared to the other 3 races was fantastic, so I absolutely loved it.
Seems like this is such a great circuit as well. Many times we've been here, many times we've seen some great races. Just the flow of the track, we commented on it throughout the event that you can you can get alongside your opponent, and they've got the advantage for the next corner. Then you've got it back, and then they've got it, and you could, before you know it, you've done a whole lap side by side.
Yeah, and it's the same on the other layouts like Indy Bike as well. That can make for some, as long as everything gets through that first complex, that can make for some fantastic racing as well. But tonight's been a complete turnaround for me. I've had about 3 or 4 weeks of absolutely rotten luck. Nearly walked away twice, and Cheppy talked me round. And to be fair, I'm kind of glad that I stuck at it now. It means a lot to me. This actually, it's been such a great racing.
I'm glad you had a lot of fun out there. Anyone want to give a shout out before we let you disappear?
Shout out to the team, all of Alpha Tech, for having me on this season again. Team atmosphere is absolutely fantastic. Same, I'll say about the CQR teams as well, because me being actually CQR, but not within the CQR team, we all work together. We all communicate. If there's anything going on the track, if there's a wreck somewhere, or if someone's driving like a dick, we'll call them out for it. And yeah, the atmosphere is fantastic. I think that's probably the best thing about this series is the people involved, even if there is some questionable driving. The people that's in it, the atmosphere, absolutely fantastic.
Awesome, thanks, mate. Congrats on the win as well. Yeah, deserved that one there, and yeah, like I say, awesome job on the donuts at the end.
Cheers, bud. Hopefully there'll be some more throughout the rest of the season. I don't want just one win this season. I want some more.
Cool. Good luck.
Cheers, bud.
Who do you want next, Adam?
Well, we've got the whole of practically Automech in the interview room.
Want to grab them? Should we grab them all?
Yeah, okay.
One foul swoop. Craig's in there as well, isn't he? So let's grab them all now. Unmute everybody as well.
Is that them all? Yes, it is. Well, I think we're all joined by almost all of yeah, we are joined by almost all of Automech. Hello.
Right. Hello. Hello.
Who should we start with, Alex?
Over to you, mate.
We'll start with who was the highest finisher in race 4. I'll just go to Craig first, just to save the time looking. Craig, just tell us for your night. How did it all go really for you?
Wasn't the greatest nights overall, if I'm honest with you. I felt like I had a kind of reasonably good pace in race 1, 3 and 4. Race 2 wasn't so good. But yeah, just kind of got a bit unlucky with incidents and whatnot, and I ended up blowing the engine on the last lap in race 4, so that didn't really end very well either. But I think other than Roy, the team we all had good pace, but just didn't get the results tonight, sadly.
Yeah, and you mentioned Roy. Roy, great. Was it race 3 or race 2? I can't remember now which one was the standout one. But you were in and the front all the way to the end. You couldn't quite get in between the two drivers ahead. But nonetheless, yeah, brilliant result for you.
Yeah, great to have that first podium in the back. Really thrilled with that result. I was hoping to capitalize on it afterwards, but yeah, then we got the first full reverse grid, and yeah, I was way at the back.
Yeah, nothing worse, I think. But you couldn't believe that when that came out as well.
Well, no, you're aiming for a top 20 to get a chance for the reverse grid, and actually you can get some decent points because you're in front to start. But yeah, then you got onto the podium for one time, and it's the first full reverse grid, so bit of bad luck. But I did get the podium because of a pole position, so yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, I guess.
And Rob, just tell us a little bit about your evening. How did it all pan out today?
Good start, not such a good end. Quite surprised myself actually at the start because I really wasn't looking forward to this track, wasn't feeling comfortable on it at all, but then got a pretty good qualifying position, much better than I expected. And it seemed to show a pretty good pace in the first race as well, holding on for I think it was a 15th place, which I was quite pleased with. Race 2 I just messed up, got a slowdown right at the start that dropped me down to about 28th, and I stayed there or thereabouts. Race 3 had a bit of unfortunate contact with some unnamables, and my car was a bit of a wreck, but I managed to drag it round right to the end, and almost to the end anyway, get tagged in the last corner by Liam Atkins, which disqualified me. And race 4, it was just I was sort of driving round at the back and made a complete mess, taking out pure Stuart Atkinson on the first corner, so I apologise to him for that.
And Scott, I'm just looking at the team championship. It probably hasn't updated after the last race, but you guys still well within a shout of getting yourselves into a position where you could go into sort of the showdown team championships. I mean, it's a couple hundred points gets you back into second place in that championship.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at just there. We're only about 4 points off the third of the pro-ams, so I win a good shout.
And what would you say the difference has been this season, if you don't mind me saying so? I think last season perhaps not anywhere near where you guys are there. Just seem to be consistently chipping away at points at the minute, and yeah, it's doing a great job. What's changed?
I think that we've just gained all that experience from the last couple of seasons, and we know what it's all about now. Well, myself personally, I've kind of calmed down a wee bit, and it seems to be working. We've always been doing great with the setups, and Roy's experience has been great as well.
Sorry, go on, Adam.
Yeah, I was just going to say next week then we head to Virginia International Raceway. Who should I ask this question to? Robert. It's going to be a lot different to Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, completely different track, so back to the drawing board, starting to set up again, see what we can come up with for next week. Fingers crossed. The last few weeks we've shown a lot of promise, I think, going in the right direction. A bit more consistency with our pace and whatnot, still a wee bit unlucky with DNFs and things, but that happens. It's a long season, hopefully it'll even out.
I'm sure it will indeed. Congratulations, guys, on good solid points finish, and you're there in the chance with the teams thing. So just keep on plugging away, and I'm sure we'll see you at the end of the championship. It'll be great to see a bit of a success story rising up through the ranks. And all the best at Virginia. Very interesting track.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Thanks a lot,
Cheers.
mate. Cheers, guys. Catch us later.
Great to talk to the Automech team, and they'll be racing next week at Virginia. I think that's all of the guys in the interview room. So yeah, Alex, a wonderful night then. Great racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. Great night's worth of racing. Always those 4 back-to-back races. We've had a bit of everything tonight, really. So some surprise podium finishes, a couple of good, strong results for individual teams. Some 1-2s, and full reverse grid as well. So yeah, just what we wanted.
Next week, though, Virginia International Raceway, from one of the shortest tracks on the calendar to one of the longest.
Yeah, I mean, it's massively contrasting. circuit.
Yeah,
You either love it or hate it. I think VIR, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Obviously, the famous tree corner. I can't think of it off my top of my head. It's very so famous. I've forgotten the name. Oak Tree Corner, is it?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
It's just gone. So I don't race it for a season in the Grand Prix, and it's gone. I've just tried to blank all memory of it whatsoever. So, but yeah, that's tricky at the best of times, and you got no room for error there as well. You go put a foot off, put a foot wide, and that's it. You're into the tyre wall, and yeah, I think we'll see a lot of that. Can you imagine what 67? Did you say grid spots?
Something along that, I think. It's either 62 or 67. I can tell you. It's it is. Dear me, where's my web browser gone? Yeah, it's 62.
60. Wow, 62 still. Can you imagine 62 screaming down into that corner the first lap? Oh wow!
Do remember some crashes there? Yeah,
going to be awesome.
Well, let's hope that Andrew Woodhouse is back with us. Hopefully, we hope and pray. But yeah, my thanks to Alex, iRacing World Championship driver. Great to have him in the com box as always. And yeah, the iRacing MSA British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship next week will be heading to Virginia International Raceway. Thank you for watching here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. It's good night from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.